Hello there, I have fantastic news. This video is all about the tread depth of your tyres, and that's important because if you have a little know-how, you can minimise the risk of collision, avoid an enormous fine and avoid points on your licence, and all you have to do is measure the tread. Welcome to CarSpyTV, where we talk about buying, driving, maintaining and selling cars because it's interesting. Okay, tyres. Let's start by recapping the basics so we have absolute clarity. The part of the tyre I'm touching now is the tread, and its purpose is to stick like glue to the road so your car has plenty of grip. And that's important because without grip you can't accelerate, you can't brake and you can't steer. If you've ever driven on ice, you'll know the feeling. Now the tread is very good at sticking to a nice dry road. But what happens when it rains? Nice and dry under here. When it rains, obviously, the road has a layer of water over it, and that's noteworthy because the tread cannot stick to water. The solution is these grooves that run all the way around the tyre. Their purpose is to push the water away so the tread can make direct contact with the road and continue to give you plenty of grip. When a tyre is new, those grooves are typically about 8mm deep at the centre of the tyre. That is your tread depth. 8mm is quite a lot. That means there's plenty of tread depth to push water away from the tyre so the tread can make direct contact with the road. But what happens over time and mileage? The tyre goes round and round for thousands of miles and hours, and that slowly wears away the rubber. Your 8mm of tread depth therefore becomes 7, then 6, then 5 and so on. The less tread depth you've got, the less water the tyre can clear. The less water it can clear, the harder it is to find grip. The lack of tread depth on a wet road therefore gives you three potential problems. The first is that as you accelerate, the tyre can't grip the road, so it just spins on the spot. That means your car doesn't go anywhere. Problem two is when you're braking. The lack of grip means your car can't stop as effectively, so your stopping distance increases significantly. Problem three is that it can be difficult to maintain a safe line through corners. Here in the United Kingdom, the law defines the minimum tread depth requirements, and it is 1.6mm across the central 75% of the tyre's width and around the entire circumference. Now this is something the law takes very seriously. If your tyre is considered unsafe, you could, in theory, in the most extreme case, be fined £2,500 and get 3 penalty points on your driving licence. And here's the kicker, that's per tyre, not per car. So you could, in theory, in the most extreme case, be fined £10,000 and get 12 points on your driving licence. 12 points is enough for a ban. Clearly for these reasons it's important to check your tread depth, but first things first, as you know, the world has gone health and safety crazy. I can barely cross the street without signing a waiver. In that spirit, I for one would never take on such a dangerous task as checking a tyre without taking appropriate safety precautions. As you can see, I'm already wearing a rather fetching high visibility jacket. I've also got my essential eye protection, and yes, don't worry, I've coned off a 50-metre exclusion zone around the tyre to protect any innocent passers-by. So, step away from the exclusion zone. There are several ways you can check the tread depth of your tyre. One of the options are the wear markers. These enable you to make a very quick visual observation without any tools that at the very least confirm your tyre is legal. So, pick a groove and look within it. Sooner rather than later you'll find a small, slightly raised section of rubber. That is a wear marker. Now imagine my right hand is the tread of the tyre and my left fist is the wear marker. The gap between is the tread depth. Now when the tyre is new, there's a big gap between the tread and the wear marker. However, as the tyre wears, that gap diminishes until eventually the tread is level with the marker. On the day that first happens, your tyre is at the legal limit. But remember what we said earlier. By law, your tyre, here in the UK, has to have at least 1.6mm of tread across the central 75% of its width and around the entire circumference. On that basis, there's no point just checking one of the wear markers. You might have plenty of tread here, but not enough there, for example. Check a few markers around the tyre. Don't tell anybody, but I'm taking off my health and safety gear. If you'd like to take a more accurate measurement, you'll need a gauge. This one's mine. You can tell it's mine because it's gone rusty on the end, it's years old and I should have bought a new one, but nonetheless, it still works and I'll show you how. Okay, so let's have a look at the gauge. As you can see, it has a sharp pointy end about there. Pop the pointy end all the way to the bottom of one of the grooves, but be careful not to put it directly on top of a wear marker because that would distort the result. Now look how I'm holding the tool. I'm touching its outer sleeve which slides up and down. Slide the sleeve towards the tread until that green piece of plastic touches the tread and the sleeve cannot move any further. That action has simultaneously exposed this column, which is where you take your reading. It therefore incorporates a series of numbers. On this particular gauge, they range from 1 to 26 millimeters. Take the reading from where the sliding outer sleeve meets the column. I'm pointing to the right part with my finger. Now what we're looking for is the lowest exposed number. In other words, what is the lowest number we can see in its entirety. Have a look at the number 6. We can only see about half of it, so that's not our reading because we can't see the whole of the number. So let's twist the tool around a little bit more until we see the number 7, and that's a bit better. We can see perhaps 80 to 90% of number 7, but again, not all of it, so that is not our reading. So let's rotate the tool one more time until we see number 8, and that is nice and clear. We can see all of it, so we know that tyre in that spot has a tread depth of 8 millimeters. The numbers on a gauge like this are small, so they can be tricky to read. Luckily, there is a solution. All you need is a digital equivalent. It works on the same principle. You still have a pointy end, you still have a sliding outer sleeve. The difference is that rather than take the reading from a column, there's a nice, big, clear digital screen. If you haven't got a depth gauge and your tyre doesn't have any wear markers, there is another way you can at least estimate your tread depth. All you do is grab your piggy bank, smash it open and get yourself a 20p coin. Now have a look at this picture I'm putting on the screen. As you can see, the coin has a border all around its edge. That border is approximately 3 millimeters wide. So what you do is grab your coin and drop it all the way to the bottom of one of the grooves. As always, don't put it directly on top of one of the wear markers because that will distort the results. Now get down level with the tyre, as I'm doing now, and have a good look at the bottom of the coin. If you can see part of its border, your tread depth is less than 3 millimeters. If you can't, it's 3 millimeters or above. There are a couple of further points to consider. Whereas here in the United Kingdom the legal minimum tread depth is 1.6 millimeters, that is not a lot. That's why many experts recommend that you change your tyre once the tread depth reaches 3 millimeters. I think that's a good idea. Furthermore, if you've inspected your tyre and you're not completely confident it's safe, take it to a mechanic and get a second opinion. Okay, this is your opportunity to have your say via the comments section of this video. So let me know, how do you like to measure your tread depth? Do you like a manual gauge, a digital gauge? Do you use the wear markers or the 20p? Perhaps you have some other method. Also, when do you replace your tyres? Do you wear them right down to legal limit or do you swap them early? Let me know what you think. I'm interested in what you have to say. While you're commenting, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It will make it easier to find future videos. Right, that's all for now. I'm off to check the rest of my tyres.